Okay, guys, so without further ado, let's get into our stock of the week. Now, as always, I suggest, if you're interested in putting some great passive income into your portfolios, go look at the other stock of the weeks. They're all doing very well. Let's talk about love. Now, look, guys, when we started this COVID experience, right? You think about it, the economy, right before March, it was going good. The stock market was at highs. Everything looked great, right? Labor market was under control. Inflation was almost non-existent. In fact, if you think back to those days, the big argument was rates were too low. Right. And now everybody's panicking over 1.7%. But let's talk about love. So in the love trade, right? Just like many of the COVID trade, right? What was the COVID trade? What was the lockdown trade? After March, everything shut down. Everything focused on what you do when you are stuck at home, right? E-commerce became big, Amazon and all those, Walmart, online shopping, right? Streaming services, right? We're going through the roof. Netflix and all these, Disney, right? Look at Disney. They were adding hundreds of millions of subscribers. It seemed like every other day. But there was a fear. There was a fear that once the economy started reopening, these stocks would start to take a hit. They'd run out of gas. They'd run out of enthusiasm. The buying power would disappear. But we think now, the love arena is especially on that, right? Because people are pent up, companionship, lack of it, looking for it, all that stuff pushes them to the online dating sites. Bumble, right? Bumble had a big IPO and they did really well. Big money. Billions they made, and Bumble is a little bit different of a service, right? It's very original in the thought process. Let's be honest, they're all meat markets, right? It's like a bar, you know what I mean? At 1 o'clock in the morning, everybody's just looking for that good cut of choice. But so a lot of people feel like once this COVID opening starts happening, people are going to migrate away from the dating sites, and now they're back in the bars and all that kind of stuff. But what we think is this: you think about the whole dating thing scenario, right? Bumble, like I said, is a little bit different. The men go on there, and the women, the ladies, actually decide whether they want to right click or left click, right? It puts the power in the other side, in the other gender. Same thing for LGBTQs. You know what I mean? You put your profile up there and they decide whether they want to contact you. It's not kind of an open forum. We like Match Group, Match.com. And the reason we like it is it's probably the biggest. It's the most popular. You see the ads on TV and stuff, but here's how we think things will go. We think, look, dating sites opened a lot of eyes, especially for young people. And what it does is it eliminates the most difficult part of a relationship, the initial contact, right? You go to the bar, you go to the club, you go to the mall, whatever, the beach to meet girls or guys, whatever you're into. And it's always that first meeting, right? That's so difficult. You introduce names, you're reading body language, habits, trying to understand, asking questions, right? What do you do? What's your, ideology is a big thing right now. The dating service makes that easy. And especially if you're shy, right? What if you're shy, a little bit introverted, you're not as outgoing as a lot of people. And then also too, think about it, guys, and girls, when you go to the bar, you go to the club, or you go to the beach, you're in that environment with your competition. But when you go onto the dating service, guess what? You're by yourself. And you get that exposure, right? You are one profile. They look at your profile. They're not looking at 5 faces at the same time and judging, right? Materialistically, the people take more time. So we think for a big part of the population, especially with younger people, right, who are so used to doing these things, everything on their digital devices, this is perfect. And we think this will continue the trade. And the chart's been doing some great things. So, and it's a buying opportunity. So look, this doesn't exactly fit into our normal criteria, which is, of course, strong dividend, strong balance sheet, something we can keep for a long time. This one doesn't pay a dividend, but we think the balance sheet, we love the balance sheet, we love the arena, and we think it's a great place to park some money for acceleration, at least through the rest of the year. As the economy expands, we think this will do well. So without further ado, we're talking about Match Group, which is match.com. Some of you may be on it. Millions and millions of Americans and people are on it. It's a very successful, the research and the surveys show that it's a very successful arena. It's a safe place. How unsafe does a young lady feel at the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning around a bunch of drunks, right? Let's be honest. You're a cat in the doghouse. But on match.com, you have these checks and balances, right? These, you have to verify yourself and things like that. Let's go take a look at the chart, because that's the most exciting part about this, we feel. Let me pop on over here. Here's a year chart of Match, and you can see something just happened. You see, this kind of fits in too, right? Think about it. November, right? A little Christmas season. People get a little lonely, right? I don't want to, New Year's Eve, I don't want to be kissing myself or the mirror or my dog, right? So people get a little lonely, and you see how the stock did well, right? And the earnings did well too. It went from 45 cents there. You lost a little bit there in the winter. But what happened here? Well, guess what? Now you have your January month, right, where things are kind of in a lull. But all of a sudden, look what the stock did. Went to all-time highs there. Why do you think that happened? Well, let's look at the date. What's February 15th? Valentine's Day. It's a love day. So you see this stock, like many other stocks, it has a personality attached to its sector. Which is important, right? And so you see, after Valentine's Day, and maybe because of this little, the thesis that these stocks will unwind as the economy opens, maybe it took a little beat down. Then over here, it took a little beat down here. But if you look, one bottom, two bottoms, triple bottom there. Reversal bar. This is the time. If you want to own it, now is the time to own it. We're going to buy some. We always put our money where our mouth is. But we love the chart and we love the business, and we think love will prosper no matter what. You know what I mean? The normal cognitive behaviors. But look, guys, all joking aside, this is a great company. It's got a solid balance sheet. If you look at it, it's doing about $2 per share. Doesn't have the dividend, but it's got great earnings growth. It's got great earnings potential, and it's at a buy point technically. So we'll close with that, guys. I don't like to keep you guys too long on these. That way you can go, and you might want to go buy it right now. Now, this is another one, guys. We always try to find these stocks, because we understand not everybody out there has a $100,000 portfolio to just go pick up 100 shares of Match.com. For you smaller portfolios, this is available on Slice and stuff like that. You can buy partial shares. Okay, so even for the small guy, you want to get a little exposure. We showed how to do that, guys, to our membership. There's a benefit to being a member with us. You learn a lot of things, not just options. We showed that. We took $450 about mid-year last year, and we bought about 15, 20 different stocks using the Slice, right? Where we just bought a partial share of Apple. We bought a partial share, and that portfolio is just rocking. So don't feel like if you're a little investor, a small investor, that you can't participate. It's just, you got to keep it relative. And that Slice, we've talked about it before. Partial shares, all brokerages do it. I mentioned Slice at Schwab, but all brokerages do it now. And it's a powerful tool, especially for the person with the small portfolio. Like always, you should always have some solid part of your portfolio. Maybe about 40% of that portfolio should always be in strong stocks that you're going to keep for a long time. You keep them off those short-term capital gains, right, which are taxed at pretty much double or more for most of us, right, than a long-term capital gain. Of course, the difference is short-term capital gain, you buy and sell it within a year. If you buy it and hold it for over a year, then you pay long-term capital gains, which is more than less than half of what you would pay on the short terms. So it's important to have that. And also too, you want, like, times like now where this market's just going sideways, right? One day it's at the top of the channel, next day it's at the bottom. Your stocks, one day they're up, one day they're down, one day they're. Well, guess what protects you in that? What we've been talking about since December: dividends. All right. Get a little bit of that Warren Buffett love in there. So, okay, guys, go have fun with Match.com. We hope maybe this brought some ideas. Brumble's another good idea too, but I just, for me personally, guys, when I look at the two companies, Brumble, I'll be honest with you. I've been on Brumble for my wife passed away about 3 years ago, so I finally got back onto the dating scene, and I've been on Brumble for about 7-8 months, and I haven't had a right what do you call it, right swipe yet. I guess that profile picture is not working. Anyways, but look, guys, there's other ideas out there. So if this is a little hefty for you, or maybe you're looking for a dividend on it, go look at the sector. But we like Match.com. If we're going to go, let's go with the best. And Match.com is easily head and shoulders the best. All right, guys, look, you guys have a great Wednesday. Okay, sideways market right now. The Nasdaq's getting that little recovery. It's up about almost 2%, but again, it's up 2, it's down 2, up 2, down 2. It's all about that employment report tomorrow coming out. So after that goody ADP number today, go get some Match.com. Have fun. All right.